The 2002 Godhra, Gujarat Sabarmati Express attack, the subsequent violence, and the ensuing Gujarat riots remain some of the most tragic and significant events in Indian history. Recently, with the release of the movie Emperor and several other films, this topic has sparked widespread discussion. In today's video, we will provide an in-depth explanation of the Gujarat riots and the events leading up to them. Let's dive into the video. Around 2,000 people from the vicinity gathered and attacked the Sabarmati Express. During this attack, the S5 and S6 coaches of the train suddenly caught fire. Many passengers were trapped inside these coaches and were unable to escape. Tragically, 59 people perished in the fire. This tragic event is known as the Godhra train incident. The exact cause of the fire remains unclear. According to the Banerjee Commission report, the fire spread inside the train accidentally. However, the Nanavati Mehta Commission report suggests that the fire was not accidental, but rather a well-planned act of arson as part of the attack. We will delve into the details of these reports later, but it is important to understand that this was a tragic incident. At the time, the then Prime Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, called for a thorough investigation into the incident and urged everyone to remain calm. In Gujarat, the Chief Minister at that time was Shri Narendra Modi. He, along with other members of his cabinet, visited the site of the incident around noon. They decided to transport all the bodies to Ahmedabad, about 130 kilometers from Godhra, for further procedures. The bodies were taken to the Solar Hospital in Ahmedabad, where additional steps were taken. During this period, the media in Gujarat extensively covered the incident, and it was broadcast live for the public to witness the unfolding events. Many prominent leaders in Gujarat, including leaders from various political parties and the government, made several statements through the press and visual media. Some of them did not consider the attack as a mere act of violence, but instead labelled it as an act of terrorism, suggesting that the Pakistani spy agency ISI was involved in the attack. Not only did ordinary people become aware of the incident through the media, but the following day, February 28th, saw numerous political parties calling for a statewide ban in Gujarat. At that time, the atmosphere in Gujarat was highly volatile, creating the perfect conditions for a backlash. This backlash soon escalated into what became known as the Gujarat Riots of 2002. To understand the full horror of these riots, let us examine one or two significant incidents that occurred during this period. One of the most tragic of these was the Naroda Patia violence on February 28th, which took place in Naroda, an area near Ahmedabad. In 2007, Tehelka conducted an extensive investigation into these incidents and released several secret videos as part of their inquiry. One of these videos featured Babu Bajrangi, which is still available on YouTube. In this video, Babu Bajrangi casually discusses the violent events that took place in Naroda, a conversation so shocking that it is impossible to listen to without being appalled. Following the release of this video, Babu Bajrangi was arrested by the police and sentenced to life imprisonment in 2012. However, between 2012 and 2016, he was granted bail on 14 occasions and released from jail. In 2019, he was granted bail again, citing health reasons. Another significant incident, similar to the violence in Naroda Patia, was the Gulberg Society massacre. Gulberg Society was an upscale area primarily inhabited by members of the Muslim community, and it too witnessed brutal violence. Among the residents was Ihsan Jafri, a former Member of Parliament MP at the time. He called high-ranking police officers and government officials, urgently requesting assistance, but no help arrived, and he too was killed in the attack. On March 1st, another horrific incident took place. This is known as the Best Bakery incident. At the time of the violence, 14 employees worked at the bakery, 11 of whom were Muslim and 3 were Hindu. When the violence broke out, they sought refuge in the bakery, but tragically, all of them were killed in the attack. This incident of burning and killing is another key event in the timeline of the Gujarat riots. Over 5,000 armed individuals entered Naroda in the morning, forcibly dragging people out of their homes, beating them, setting gas cylinders on fire, burning people alive, and committing acts of RP. Reports indicate that around 97 people lost their lives in this horrific incident alone. Babubhai Patel, also known as Babu Bajrangi, who was leading this brutal atrocity, was later arrested by the police. Similar violent outbreaks occurred across Gujarat, including in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Surat, Vadodara, and Godhra. Official figures report that about 790 people from the Muslim community and 254 people from the Hindu community were killed during this violence. However, rather than dividing the toll by religious lines, it is essential to recognize that a total of 1,044 civilians and innocent lives were lost in the Gujarat riots. Unofficial sources suggest that the death toll could have exceeded 2,000. The 2002 Godhra, Gujarat, Sabarmati Express attack, the subsequent violence, and the ensuing Gujarat riots remain some of the most tragic and significant events in Indian history. Recently, with the release of the movie Empuran and several other